echoes of forgotten vows. The judge's gavel crashes against the polished oak bench like thunder cracking open a long-buried grave. The sound reverberates through the marbled halls of the county courthouse, seeping into my veins, chilling the blood that's already run cold from too many winters of waiting. I am Miriam Hale, 72 years young in body but ancient in spirit, perched on this unforgiving wooden chair that creaks under my slight frame. My arthritic fingers, knotted like the roots of an old willow, grip a faded blue satchel, my lifeline, my archive of shattered promises, held close for 14 unforgiving years. My pulse thuds in my ears, a frantic drumbeat drowning out the murmurs of the gallery behind me. Across the aisle, my son Daniel sits ramrod straight in his tailored charcoal suit, his jaw set like granite, his sharp-featured attorney, Ms. Lydia Hargrove, gesturing accusatorily in my direction as if I'm some thief in the night. His eyes, those eyes that once sparkled with the mischief of boyhood, now smolder with a fury that's equal parts accusation and desperation. I know that look. It's the echo of his father's rage, the one that drove us all to the brink decades ago. Beside Daniel, Lydia shuffles through a stack of crisp legal briefs, her manicured nails tapping rhythmically, exuding the unshakable poise of someone who trades in truths she believes are absolute. Your Honor, Daniel's voice cuts through the tension, steady but laced with a tremor that betrays his youth, 38 now, but still my boy in so many ways. My mother has harbored my children for 14 years without a whisper of my consent. This is nothing short of parental abduction. I never gave her permission to whisk them away. Abduction. The word lands like a splinter under my nail, burrowing deep into the tender flesh of my heart. I flinch, but not visibly. No, I've learned to swallow pain like bitter medicine. I glance back, my neck protesting the turn, and there they are, my 4 grandchildren, lined up in the back row like fragile porcelain dolls on a shelf about to topple. Liam, 22, with his tousled dark hair and the quiet intensity of a storm cloud, Sophia, 19, her freckled face pale and drawn, clutching a tissue as if it were a shield, twins Elias and Nora, 17, identical in their wide-eyed bewilderment, their hands intertwined in a knot of shared fear. They look at me not with judgment, but with the raw confusion of children, though they're not children anymore, caught in a narrative they never scripted. Judge Harlan Whitaker, a silver-haired sentinel with wire-rimmed spectacles perched on the bridge of his nose and eyes that have witnessed 1,000 fractured families, peers over them at me. His face is etched with the weariness of a man who's seen justice bend but rarely break. Mrs. Hale, he intones, his voice a gravelly baritone softened by years of measured compassion. What response do you have to these grave allegations? My grip tightens on the satchel, its leather worn smooth from endless nights of poring over its contents in the dim glow of my bedside lamp. Inside lie the fragments of a truth I've guarded fiercer than a mother bear her cubs, letters yellowed with age, photographs curled at the edges, bank statements stained with coffee rings, and one final revelation that could either mend or shatter us all. Your Honor, I begin, my voice emerging like a whisper from a forgotten well, hoarse from disuse but gaining strength with each syllable. I didn't abduct a soul. I merely sheltered the children my son forsook on my threshold, raising them through tempests he fled. That's a fabrication. Daniel erupts, leaping to his feet, his chair scraping harshly against the floor. His face flushes crimson, veins bulging at his temples. I didn't forsake them. I was battling demons, addiction, despair. I needed a brief reprieve, not a lifetime exile. Lydia places a restraining hand on his arm, her touch clinical, calming. Your Honor, she interjects smoothly, my client was institutionalized for severe substance abuse and clinical depression following his divorce. He sought urgent rehabilitation. Mrs. Hale exploited that fragility, spiriting away the children and systematically poisoning their minds against their father. The courtroom stirs, a low hum of speculation rising like steam from a kettle. Strangers in the pews, curious locals, perhaps a few reporters with notepads at the ready, lean forward, nodding sagely as if the script is already written, the villain cast. But I know the lines by heart, I've recited them in the silence of my empty kitchen, in the hush of bedtime stories laced with half-truths. Mrs. Hale, the judge says, his tone dipping into something almost paternal, I appreciate the burdens of grandparenting in crisis. Yet, if the biological parent now seeks reclamation. With respect, Your Honor, I cut in, surprising even myself with the steel threading my words. There are truths this court must unearth before any decree is etched in stone. I hoist the satchel aloft, a banner of defiance, and watch Daniel's gaze lock onto it, his composure cracking like thin ice. Fear flickers there, raw, unfiltered. Within this, I hold irrefutable evidence that reframes this entire tragedy. The judge arches a brow, intrigued. What manner of evidence, Mrs. Hale? Testimony to the events of 14 years past, I reply, my voice quivering not with terror, but with the ache of a dam about to burst. Proof of why my son stands before you now, not born of paternal yearning, but something far more shadowed. Daniel pales, his knuckles whitening on the table's edge. Mother, I beg you, don't unearth this. Not here. And what would you have me do, son? I counter, meeting his stare with the unyielding gaze of a woman who stared down loss too many times. Bury it deeper, as you did? Lydia clears her throat, a performative cough. Your Honor, Mrs. Hale seeks to obfuscate the core matter. Ancient relics from yesteryear cannot eclipse my client's inherent rights. Quite the contrary, I say, my eyes never leaving Daniel's. These relics illuminate precisely why, after 14 years of deafening silence, no remittances for their keep, no holiday greetings, no birthdays acknowledged, my son materializes with counsel in tow. The air thickens, charged as the moments before lightning strikes. I hear the collective intake of breath, my grandchildren's shallow gasps, the rustle of Lydia's papers as her facade slips, Daniel's ragged exhales like confessions unspoken. The judge studies me, his pen hovering. Mrs. Hale, do you imply ulterior motives in this petition? I imply nothing, Your Honor. I declare it boldly. And it's chronicled here, indelibly. My gaze bores into Daniel's, unearthing that boyish guilt he once wore after pilfering cookies, now magnified 1,000-fold. 14 years I pondered, son. 14 years of fevers breaking at dawn, of parent-teacher conferences endured alone, of waiting by a phone that stayed mute. Judge Whitaker wraps his gavel lightly, a gentle rebuke to the rising tide. Mrs. Hale, are you prepared to tender these materials as exhibits? I caress the satchel, feeling the weight of its secrets like stones in my pocket. Within, missives from Daniel's wayward youth, snapshots of neglect, ledgers of my sacrifices, and that one sealed missive, the linchpin, unknown even to the children. Yes, Your Honor. I stand ready. He nods, consulting his docket with deliberate slowness. So be it. But prior to scrutiny, I require your unvarnished recital of the chronicle. Recount the genesis, 14 years hence. I shut my eyes, and the courtroom fades. I'm hurled back to that blustery November eve, rain lashing the windows of my modest bungalow like accusatory fingers. I was brewing elderberry tea in my cramped galley kitchen, seeking solace after a rheumatologist's grim prognosis, my joints rebelling fiercer with each passing season. The clock struck 8:30 when the pounding came, frantic, insistent. My voice softens, laced with the sepia tones of memory. Daniel burst through my door like a gale off the Atlantic, the children in tow, Liam 7, Sophia 5, and the twins barely 2. They were disheveled phantoms, mud-caked clothes, tear-streaked faces, the littles wailing from empty bellies and sodden diapers. I steal a glance at them now. Liam offers a wan smile, fragments of that night glinting in his eyes. Sophia's lashes clump with unshed tears, the twins huddle closer, Nora's thumb seeking her lip as it did in toddlerhood. My son dumped a duffel of haphazard garments at my feet, nothing laundered, just chaos in cloth. Mom, he gasped, rain dripping from his coat, watch them for me. Just till I get straight. A month, tops. Daniel averts his eyes, staring at the floor as if it might swallow him. Lydia murmurs counsel, but he waves her off, lost in recollection. I pressed him, what troubles? Money? That harpy of an ex-wife? But he babbled of needing space, of debts piling like snowdrifts, of a new opportunity in the city that demanded a clean break. He pecked their crowns, perfunctory, hurried, and vanished into the storm, tires squealing on the gravel drive. The children clustered at the pane, chorusing "Daddy! Daddy!" But his taillights were ghosts in the downpour. The room holds its breath, the hush profound as a cathedral vigil. I feel the spectators' empathy coiling, tendrils of understanding snaking through the skepticism. That inaugural night, Liam queried when his father would reclaim them. I lied, soon, love, while inside, dread bloomed. Nora fretted for her rag doll, abandoned in their flat. Sophia, ever the peacemaker, toddled to help set the table, her tiny palms sticky with unwashed grief. Elias spiked a fever that soaked his sheets. I rocked him till dawn, humming lullabies my own mother sang to me. My throat constricts, a bailiff proffers water, which I sip gratefully. Weeks bled into months. I'd lost Daniel's address, he'd vanished like smoke after the divorce. No landline, no trace. The children pined daily, Liam's drawings of a family whole, Sophia's whispers to her pillow, the twins' tandem nightmares that echoed through the walls. Daniel shifts, his fingers twisting a cufflink. I press on. I matriculated them locally, needed transcripts, immunizations. Trekking to his old haunts, I found the landlord evicting shadows, 3 months arrears, a crate of cast-offs including their vital records. He skipped town, the man spat, chasing pipe dreams. Judge Whitaker scribbles furiously. Did you alert authorities, Mrs. Hale? Your Honor, I clung to hope. Daniel had faltered before. After his father's passing, the bottle became his crutch, but never so utterly. What charge to level? A father depositing his brood with kin? No malfeasance then, merely a mother's mantle thrust upon a grandmother. I pivot to Daniel. But seasons turn to years. Liam turned 8, beseeching an invite to his absent sire for birthday cake. I vowed we'd hunt him down. Sophia entered kindergarten. When queried on kin, she beamed at me, Granny's my anchor. Tears prick, but I damn them. Not yet. Outlays surged, my widow's pension a pittance for 4 mouths. I pawned heirlooms, my wedding band, your grandfather's watch. Took shifts at the diner, grease staining my apron till midnight. My sister, Ruth, minded the wee ones, her lap a harbor when mine was at sea. The judge perks. Relation to the court? She's my sibling, Your Honor, Ruth Whitaker, your late cousin's widow. She'll attest to our gauntlets those inaugural years. Daniel and Lydia trade uneasy glances, this thread they hadn't unraveled. When the twins hit 4, calamity struck. Elias tumbled ill, bronchitis festering into something sinister. Hospital doors loomed, no insurance, no paternal nod, no papers. That's when I lawyered up, scraping $1,200 from barren coffers. We advertised summonses, scoured directories. Silence. Guardianship secured, the judge probes. Your Honor. 11 years passed, this bench bestowed temporary wardship, escalating to permanent after fruitless quests. For 4 years, edicts demanded diligence in locating the father. He surfaced not, nor coin, nor call. Daniel surges. I was ensnared in recovery. Relapse after relapse, I was scarcely functional. Sit, please, the judge commands, firm as oak. To me, proceed. They flourished under my wing. Liam aced community college, engineering his dreams. Sophia penned verses that won bursaries, her words a balm for our wounds. The twins captained debate, their voices fierce advocates. Therapy for traumas unspoken, checkups clockwork, recitals wrapped with applause. Every milestone, proms, graduations, I was the sentinel. Liam nods, moisture veiling his gaze. I never deceived them of you, son. He adores you, I'd say, but life scales grounded him. Photos of infancy shared, their crafts hoarded for your return. And contact? Not till 3 months yon, when you stormed my porch with writs and wrath. The judge leans in, predatory. 3 months? What gale shifted after 14 barren years? I arch a melancholy smile, delving into the satchel. The crux, Your Honor, resides herein. He extends a palm. Approach, Mrs. Hale, and proffer your trove. I rise creakily, hips grinding like rusted hinges, resolve my crutch. The satchel hugs my bosom as I advance, Daniel's footfalls echoing his unease. Your Honor, Lydia rises, I move for defense perusal pre-admission. Granted, Whitaker concedes. Clerk, distribute for dual inspection. I unfasten the clasp with reverence, unveiling my reliquary, images bound in azure ribbon, epistles in Daniel's scrawl, dockets of depletion, and that veiled codicil. Commence with these, I declare, tendering a sheaf of photos. The clerk conveys them, the judge pours, his mien darkening. Elucidate these tableaus, Mrs. Hale. First, Liam, 7, rags clinging like shame, Saul's gaping like wounds. Second, Sophia, grime veiling her cherubic glow, tresses a wild thicket. Third, the twins, Elias's cheeks hollowed by hunger, Nora swaddling sodden and askew. I captured these not for malice, but on Ruth's counsel, a ledger against oblivion. Daniel shields his visage, Lydia thrusts the prints at him, his flinch visceral. Next, I venture, extracting bound correspondence, these missives from Daniel, the octet following his flight. The judge scans the script. Authored by your son? Indubitably. His flourish unmistakable. To Daniel, recount their missives, son. He demurs. Lydia appropriates, perusing. Her poise fractures. Your Honor, I intone, the inaugural, 3 fortnights post-departure, Daniel avowed he'd ensnared a venture in Boston, a fresh start with a consortium, but familial encumbrances deterred. Tend them longer, Mom, it'll pave my path. The gallery inhales sharply, all converge on Daniel, who weeps soundlessly. The second, I persist, timbre hardening, heralded his betrothal to Elena Vasquez, a colleague unburdened by baggage. He sired a daughter, Isabella, now 13, with her, nurtured in suburbia because it suited their ascent. Can't ferry the past, he penned, lest it sink us. The grandchildren gape, shock rippling. Liam's fist clenches, Sophia gasps. I'd shielded this sibling secret, deeming it salt on suppurating sores. The judge balks. Another progeny? Aye. One he could father anew, unscarred by prior vows. In the third, my voice ablade now, he solicited my affix on relinquishments, severing ties for his unfettered union, $800 proffered for arrears, a pittance for parenthood's toll. Lydia blanches, her narrative crumbles. You yielded? Whitaker queries. Nay. I retorted, keep your alms, vanish wholly or return redeemed. His riposte, the finale in 14 years. I proffer the creased vellum. The judge deciphers, countenance sternifying. Vocalize it, Mrs. Hale. Hands quaking, voice resolute, Mother, so be it. I'll not haunt your hearth. Rear them staunchly, I've forged my hearth elsewhere. If queried, deem me lost to labors afar. Spare them further torment. Ever, Daniel. Sobs cascade from the rear, Sophia's keening, Nora's muffled wails, Elias's choked fury. Liam half rises, checked by his sister's grasp. Your Honor, I entreat, refolding the screed, for 14 years, I honored that exile. No pursuits, no pleas. I nurtured with scant shekels, envisioning your epiphany. Why now this crusade? A rueful grin as I unearthed the capstone. For 5 months prior, Your Honor, my sister Beatrice, Daniel's aunt, childless in Oregon, succumbed to the Reaper. Her bequest, $75,000 apiece to her great-nieces and nephews. Whitaker rivets. Relevance to custody? The codicil mandates disbursement to wards under kin's aegis, biological or guardian. As their steward, I'd commenced claims upon their majority. Daniel's sobs amplify, Lydia contemplates egress. But the windfall, I aver, unyielding, prompted his probe. This dossier, a sanctioned inquiry into his odyssey, evidences his retention of Ms. Hargrove 4 months past, post-probate whispers. Lydia vaults. Objection. Intrusive sleuthing. Legitimate defense, I parry. Post is ambush, I fortified. Licensed, lawful. Order, the gavel cracks. Whitaker eyes me appraisingly. More in that satchel, Mrs. Hale? I probe its depths, the ultimate vault. One final shard, Your Honor. A secret veiling even the children. He adjusts his spectacles, alight with gravity. What revelation merits this veil? Before unveiling, I stipulate, let their voices resound. Fairness demands my grandchildren's testament. Daniel brightens fractionally, Lydia concurs. My client yields, adolescence volition prevails. Whitaker mulls. Granted. Liam Hale, ascend. My eldest ascends languidly, a colossus at 22, broad-shouldered, with Daniel's roguish grin tempered by my quiet fortitude. He settles, oath sworn, his gaze locking mine, gratitude, terror, love entwined. Mr. Hale, the judge commences, narrate your tenure with your grandmother. This petition disrupts your world, your stance? Liam inhales, voice a baritone honed by adversity. Your Honor, grants our North Star. Dad, he faded when we needed him most. I recall fragments, arguments echoing, bottles clinking, then the deluge that night. Grand's door was sanctuary, warm cocoa, bedtime tales of constellations, not specters. He glances at Daniel, compassion warring with wound. You battled shadows, Dad, I get that now, from Grand's candor. But she was daylight. She juggled shifts at dawn, PTA nights, my braces fundraisers. Therapy unpacked our abandonment, not blame, but healing. Gran never maligned you, she mourned you, hoarding our letters for when you mend. This inheritance? News to us. But if it's bait. His voice fractures. We choose stability. Gran's home, our home. Not a phantom's gambit. Daniel crumples, head bowed. Whitaker nods. Sophia Hale? She glides forward, a wisp at 19, auburn curls framing a face fierce with verses fire. Sir, words are my armor. Gran taught me that, penning pain into power. Dad's absence carved canyons in us. I'd compose odes to the wanderer, yearning for your silhouette. But Gran was verse incarnate, midnight revisions, sonnet marathons over tea. When depression shadowed me at 15, echoes of your struggles, she navigated therapy, sat vigil through fogs, affirming I wasn't fracture but mosaic. Tears trace her cheeks. You return now, with legalese? It feels like scavenging our scars for silver. I love you, Dad, always will, but Gran's our rhythm. Disrupt that, and we'd shatter. The judge's gaze softens. Elias and Nora Hale, jointly, if you wish. The twins advance in tandem, mirror images, lithe, raven-haired, with eyes like polished onyx. Elias speaks first, voice steady as debates rostrum. Your Honor, we've tag-teamed life, Nora my echo, me her shield. Dad's void echoed loudest in silences, holidays hollow, Father's Day forays to the pier, toasting absent anchors. Gran filled them, pancake towers, guitar duets, Nora's axe, my rhythm. She bankrolled lessons from tip jars, cheered our forensics triumphs. Nora interlaces his fingers, her timbre softer, laced with melody. When leukemia nipped at 12, scans, chemo's chill, Gran was fortress. Slept in vinyl chairs, smuggled melodies on my iPod, vowing we'd harmonize post-storm. Dad, your letters Gran shared? They stung, but she framed them as journeys. Unfinished. This suit? It's discord. We crave Gran's cadence, home, not havoc. The twins retreat, entwined, the courtroom exhales, a collective catharsis. Daniel's shoulders heave, Lydia sketches furiously, outmaneuvered. Whitaker addresses me. Their eloquence weighs heavy, Mrs. Hale. Now, that final document? I extract the trifold parchment, its seal brittle. This, Your Honor, is Daniel's affidavit, from his rehab sojourn, year 2 post-flight. Penned to his counselor, copied to me anonymously via Ruth. It chronicles not just his descent, but a vow forsaken. The judge accepts, unfolding with care. His brows knit as he absorbs. Read it, he bids. My voice, a vessel for buried tempests, I fled not from fatherhood, but fear, Elena's ultimatum, choose us or them. I chose erasure, forging a facsimile family to flee my failures. Mother bears my burdens, God forgive the son who bartered blood for balm. If I return, let it be redemption, not reclamation. Dated, signed, witnessed. Daniel gasps, recognition dawning. Mother, how? Ruth unearthed it in his trail's detritus. I safeguarded it, awaiting your awakening, not avarice. The gallery erupts in whispers, Whitaker silences with a rap. Mr. Daniel Hale, response? He rises, shattered. I was lost, Your Honor. Elena's grip, my guilts, they chained me. Isabella was my absolution, but the others, my ghosts. The bequest? A siren call, yes, I confess. But hearing them. He chokes. I came for scraps, but witness wholesomeness I wrought not. Forgive me, mother. Liam, soft, please. Lydia intercedes. Your Honor, this alters paradigms. My client concedes, joint counseling, visitation phased. Custody abides with Mrs. Hale. Whitaker deliberates, gaze sweeping us. This court prioritizes progeny over pedigree. Evidence mounts, Mrs. Hale's stewardship unassailable, the children's bonds irreplaceable. Petition denied. Guardianship endures, with supervised reintegration for Mr. Hale, therapy mandatory, contact graduated. Inheritance disperses per codicil, bolstering their futures under current aegis. The gavel falls, finality, not fracture. Relief floods me, a tide washing wounds. Daniel slumps, redeemed in ruin. My grandchildren swarm the bar, enveloping me in limbs and love, Liam's bare hug, Sophia's verse whispered thanks, the twins harmonious we stay. As we file out into autumn's embrace, leaves swirling like confetti of closure, I clasp the satchel, lighter now, its burdens shared. Truth, tardy but tenacious, has woven us anew. Not flawless, but whole. In the sunset's glow, I glimpse Daniel trailing, tentative. Mother? I pause, extending a hand. Son. The morrow dawns. Walk with us? He nods, tears mingling with rain's memory. And so we do, family, forged in fire's forge, stepping into light. Thank you so much for your sweet support. I'm looking forward to your comments on the story. On the screen, you can see 2 new life stories that I highly recommend. There's so much more on my channel. Don't forget to subscribe. See you in the next life story.